Today we're going to take a look at how the prisoners are treated and how the prisons at work.
So tell me about your day-to-day here. What happens in the prison and how are you being treated here?
Well, life's pretty complicated. Most of the time, we're chained to the walls and restrained since we're not being heard, and our clothes, they're not for the proper because we're always freezing during winter, and cells are always overcrowded. There's too many people in one tiny place. Some of our inmates also are a bit crazy. They have mental issues and they don't get any treatment, so we have to take care of them and we don't really know what to do.
So if I understood this correctly, you are telling me that prisoners and mentally ill individuals are seen as failures and not treated correctly.
Wow, thank you for repeating everything I just said.
How about we take a look at our special guest today, coming from the McLean Hospital. Why are you a patient in a mental hospital at the moment?
Well, my family said I had to go, but I don't understand why. They've told me I had to eat and sleep more, but I can't bring myself to do so. I don't even like it here. They keep on strapping me to a chair, but I'm not allowed to leave. Can I go now? I don't want to be here.
Oh, interesting. So they strap you to a chair for no reason?
Yes, I don't understand why. My parents sent me here because they said I was an embarrassment to their family. I feel like a failure, and they said I would feel better here if I got here. But how am I supposed to feel better when I get dunked into icy water for half an hour every day?
Every day. Thanks for the deep dive into that. Today's show was fascinating.
That's an understatement. And one final question for you guys. So, do you feel like you're accepted in today's society?
Absolutely not. I feel like I'm isolated from everyone else.
Me too, and everyone thinks I'm a monster, as if mental problems are associated with extreme danger.
Well, you guys sure are tough.
It was a pleasure to hear all about your daily lives. We hope it will get better.
Oh my God. Did you hear about Dorothy Dix and Harriet Martineau? They're making headlines in England for the mental health and prison efforts. Hopefully they come through and cross the water. Sounds like you guys need it.
Yeah, I heard that a reform was being prepared.
Now to Dorothy Dix, who helped change how mentally ill people are treated and seen. What do you initially propose to achieve these changes?
Thank you, but don't flatter me too much. I visited the prisons and hospitals that were in dire need of help and documented my observations. I shared these findings with experts I had collaborated with in England. From these reports, I identified what needed to be done for different illnesses and developed better methods for accurately diagnosing the patients.
Been inside yet. So could you tell us exactly how you managed to put these changes into effect and also what was wrong with the previous establishments?
Well, implementing these changes wasn't exactly cheap and I couldn't fund it all myself. I had to secure investments from some wealthy friends and provide politicians with the necessary information to support crucial bills. I teamed up with other reformers who also committed to improving the treatment of mentally ill. It was a challenging journey. I felt uncomfortable with the way they were being treated because...
Oh yeah, they were physically abused, right? We met with one a while back before he came, and he explained that they were strapped to chairs, put into straitjackets, and even dunked into icy water.
Yes, exactly. Many people disagreed with me, but I ignored them. They just didn't get it. If we keep on punishing people, it's not going to help. Yet they continue to do so. Once New York adopted the Auburn system created by Ellen Linz, people finally saw the truth, and the haters couldn't hate anymore. This stopped patients from dying in straitjackets, which is a rather grim way to go if you ask me. Another thing, prisoners should be given a second chance because they're people too, and people can change. It has worked wonders in England, so I brought over probation and parole here to ensure that prisoners aren't entirely miserable. I ended up establishing new asylums in New Jersey, North Carolina, and Illinois. I even tried to pass a bill to create a national asylum and push for the separation of facilities for different groups. Now women, children, and those with mental illnesses aren't mixed in with everyone else. In addition, we're setting up libraries and basic literacy programs in some prisons to encourage education and give inmates a path to a better future after their release, because nothing says rehabilitation like a good book and a second chance.
That sounds incredible. So you've really been focusing on the idea of rehabilitation over punishment, right?
Exactly. Treating prisoners and the mentally ill with dignity and respect goes a long way. My hope is that these changes will give people the chance to reform their lives instead of being trapped in cycles of punishment and mistreatment.
Speaking of rehabilitation, can you tell us more about the non-restraint system? you guys advocated for. It sounds like it made a big impact on how patients are treated.
Of course, after a tragic incident where a patient died in a straitjacket, it became clear we needed alternatives to restraints. Now we are implementing better techniques with patients in care rather than force, so patients don't feel like they're being punished just for being themselves.
And what about public support? Are people starting to see mental health differently and rehabilitation differently too? Or not?
Unfortunately, not yet. Many still do not treat them with respect and see them as insane, but it is something we need to work on together to fix.
Well, we have been asking you about what you did. Now, let us see for ourselves. Alright, welcome back. We're here in the same hospital we visited before, but this time, things are supposed to be much different. Let's see what changed.
Hello, you look a bit more comfortable now. How are things now?
Oh, I remember you. Well, as you can see, it's much better here now. I'm no longer strapped to a chair or restrained for hours. The doctors actually talked to me about how I'm feeling and encouraged me to take small steps to feel better.
That's a huge change. And they aren't using ice water or pain-free treatments anymore, right?
Thankfully, no. They've introduced new therapies, things that don't hurt. I've been allowed to read, write, and even have conversations with other patients. It's like they're actually trying to help us.
Amazing! And what about the hospital workers? Are they treating you with respect now?
Yes, they listen to us and take time to understand what each of us need. It's still not perfect, but at least we're being treated like humans.
Well, let's see if the prison is doing any better than like the hospital is.
Looks a bit less dreary, doesn't it? Let's talk to one of the prisoners we met earlier and see if life here is any different.
It's been a relief. We're no longer chained up all day or forced into cramped, freezing cells. We have proper clothes now, so we won't freeze in the winter. We even get to spend time outside. They even brought us a few books to help us learn.
Books. Sounds like progress. So they are trying to rehabilitate, not just punish, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're encouraging us to improve ourselves. Some of us are even learning to read and write. It's hard to believe, but there's actual hope now that things could change.
What about the overcrowding? Are you still packed into cells?
It's not as bad as before, so we've separated so there's not 10 people in one cell, only around 2. And so we don't have to deal with as many fights and the tension that used to be here. But when a lot of prisoners get arrested, it goes back to how it was before. But overall, it's much, much better.
That's good to hear. Sounds like the prison does want to help prisoners. And on that note, we'll see you guys in another episode. Toodles.